Hello and welcome back to Tengu Simulations, everybody. I've said before that to sync your target you need to know several pieces of information. Today we'll look at manual ranging. Keep in mind that Silent Hunter 3 can be as easy or as difficult as you want it to be. If the only way you can have fun is with auto-targeting and officer assistance, be my guest. But if you're willing to take the next step in making the simulation a lot more rewarding and exciting, this is it. Today I'll present to you 3 tiers of difficulty, 3 distinct methods of ranging your target manually, and you choose which is for you. Method number 1. Map ranging. For this to work, you need to play with the map contact option enabled. With this method, all you have to do is go to your nav map, find the target. We're going to use the closest target, which is a coastal merchant right here. You simply take the ruler, you drag it from your U-boat to the target, and you can see that the range of the target is 0.8. What does 0.8 mean? It means 0.8 kilometers. One thing you need to keep in mind, guys, is that in Silent Hunter 3, if I move the ruler around, you'll see that the game is only capable of counting every 100 meters. And if you guys pay close attention to this, you'll see that if I move the 8 just a little bit more, it turns into a 9. So this tells me that quite possibly this target right here is maybe 860, maybe 880 meters away, because if it was just a little bit more away, it'd be 900 meters. Easy, isn't it? Method number 2. Stadimeter ranging. If you're after historical accuracy as well as a more authentic simulation experience, this method is not for you. Historically, German U-boats did not have stadimeters. They either estimated the range by eye or they used the scope graticules. When you want to use a stadimeter, first of all you want to identify the ship, so let's go into our manual and identify this as a coastal merchant. There we are. And then you click on the range button, quote unquote, and what you do is you want to put your scope on the waterline and then take the stadimeter line and put it on the highest mast. Now, as you can see, the U-boat moves around quite a bit. This is quite realistic. Usually in a career setting, you'll have adverse weather and adverse sea conditions that will make your life more difficult than it needs to be. What you basically do in that instance is you try to approximate, and then as soon as the horizontal line of your scope aligns with the water line, you try to get a snap. So right now I got a reading of 721 meters. I know for a fact this is quite a bit off, but that's probably because of the bobbing of the U-boat. And in fact, if I use the UZO instead, maybe I'll get a more stable reading. Let's give this a try. Yeah, it seems to bob a lot less than the periscope. You can see, guys, now that I turned on the automatic solution and my weapons officer estimates that the target is almost 800 meters away. Now, historically, German U-boats did not have stadimeters. They either estimated the range by eye or they used scope graticules. And that leads us to the final method. Method 3, scope graticules. So, enough playing around. We now enter the math territory, gentlemen. Ooh, spooky stuff. If you're watching this at your couch, eating, stop the video and watch it another time. I need you to stay focused. Pause the video. If you need to write notes or memorize numbers, do whatever you can to not deviate from the method. We're using the real formula that the real commanders used, but we are supplementing it with a magic number. This magic number will result in a range estimation that is consistently close to the real one. Down below, I will present you with links to every single one of my findings. Feel free to browse them and attempt to make sense of them. So for now, the formula we care about and then one we're going to be using is mast height divided by graticule marks multiplied by an x number. The x in the formula is a variable that changes based on the exact optic you're using. Magnification levels, as well as whether you're using the vanilla or a modded scope, alter this magic number. If we cheat either with the automatic solution or with the map tools, we'll be able to find out that the range to the target is close to 800 meters. This is going to be the end result we roughly need to reach. Now, depending on the scope you're using, you may have access to lots of different zoom levels. Generally speaking, because you will first range your target at long range, you will need to use one of the higher magnification levels. Therefore, ranging with a 1.5 scope is not something you really care about. Let's use the ranging method on the coastal merchant with the 6x scope. The mast height of the target is 22.7 meters. Let's round it up to 23 for easy math. We put the horizontal line of our scope on the waterline, and if you actually move it a bit right to line up with the highest mast, which I believe is this one. So if I just pause at the right time, there, let's count now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5, I would say. We can round up if you want to, but obviously rounding up or down again and again and again usually has an impact on the range. Do you really care about? I mean, not really. It's not going to be that huge of a difference in range, but it's always nice to try to get as close as possible. So I'm not going to round. I'm going to keep this 6.5 as is. We take the mast height, which we rounded up to 23. We divide it by the number of graticules, which is 6.5. This gives us a very long number, 3.5, 3846, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're going to round down this number to 3.5, okay? Now, we need a magic number that when we multiply it with 3.5, it gives us roughly 0.8. Now, if you have a basic understanding of math, you will understand that the number we're looking for is 0 point something. Beastanko6 in his video that inspired this one is using 0.22 as the magic number. 3.5 multiplied by 0.22 equals 0.77, and if we multiply that by 1000, which gives us the result of 770 meters. Now again, we assumed that the target was 800 meters away, and as you can see, 770 is pretty damn close to 800 meters, just 30 meters off the mark. Pretty damn good, eh? If you are even more proficient in maths, you may have the bright idea to divide the target number, which was 0.8, with the number that we got from the original division, so 3.5. And indeed, if we calculate 0.8 divided by 3.5, we get 0.22 something something something, which we can round down to 0.22 or perhaps 0.23, which I believe is going to give us an even more accurate reading. 3.5 multiplied by 0.23 makes for 0.805, which if we multiply by 1000 we get 805 meters, which is even closer to the target range. The experimentation with numbers will have to be repeated every time you switch magnification levels or scope modes. MagUI and Anerbe, for example, are quite close to vanilla, especially when we're talking 6x magnification. Arbo, on the other hand, flips the tables on you with a completely different looking scope. Let's move away from the poor stationary coastal merchant and pick a random moving target. Let's pretend we just spotted it and we try to range it. Alright, let's use this tanker over there. I believe the UZO actually has more than 6x magnification. Let me check real quickly. Yeah, the UZO seems like 7 or 8 times magnification, so let's use the UZO, okay? First step in calculating the range is of course to identify the target. This is a tanker. If we find it on the manual real quickly, it's gonna help us a ton. I believe it's this one, yeah, small tanker, okay. Let's look it up just to make things easier. You can see that the mast is 26.6. I'm going to round it up to 27, okay. Then if I unlock the UZO so I can properly move it around, I'm going to align the horizontal line of the UZO with the water line, and then I'm going to move close to the highest mast, which is the one on the right. I'm going to pause to make things easier, and I'm going to count the tick marks. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 tick marks, okay. 27 divided by 5 equals 5.4. Now, due to previous experimentations I've done with the vanilla scopes for the purposes of this video, I know for a fact that the X number, that the magic quote-unquote number that I'm looking for is 0.4. So let's multiply 5.4 by 0.4. This gives us the result of 2.16. If we multiply that with 1000, it gives us 2160 meters. Let's go into the map and see what the range actually looks like. It must be this one. I'm pretty sure it's this one. So if we grab the ruler and we start from our U-boat and we draw a line to the target, we see the range of 2.1 kilometers, and actually this is pretty much dead on because we calculated that the target is 2 kilometers and 160 meters away. So pretty damn good method, eh? Before we conclude this lesson, a few considerations. The torpedo mission in the Naval Academy takes place in a calm sea with great weather. In real patrol scenarios, sea state, atmospheric visibility, time of day, as well as the ultimate challenge of not being discovered, all play a role in undermining the quality of your data. Therefore, trying to nail the numbers on the head is next to impossible. Instead of obsessing over numbers, getting within 50 or 100 meters of the actual range should be good enough. Additionally, in real life, commanders would more often than not guesstimate the range. After all, in a straight shot and at close ranges, range isn't really a factor. It still is, however, quite important for nailing your target's location and planning an interception, so practice it and apply it in a career. Eventually, it will become almost instinctive. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video will prove useful to you. Tengu signing out. Good hunting.